Three Kingdoms. Summoning Soldier Immortals at the beginning. Introduction. As soon as he opened his eyes and traveled to the end of the Eastern Han Dynasty, Liu Zhang became the cowardly ruler of Xichuan in history. In this era of great struggle, there is also a summoning system bound to summon heroes of Chinese history, and see how Liu Zhang stirs up the storm. During the spring and autumn period and the warring states period, Qin, Han, Sui, Tang, Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties, prominent figures and generals from various dynasties gathered to compete in the Central Plains. Chapter 1. Starting from the end of Han Dynasty and binding the system. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, I'll go, I'm there. I just got into college, so why don't you do this for me? Liu Zhang's consciousness gradually recovered, and in the last moment of his memory, he only remembered a flying car shadow and a loud whistle. The license plate of the final Universiade was deeply imprinted in his mind, physics. I'm going, I've traveled, right? My memories are still preserved, indicating that it's not an afterlife. Where have I traveled? Liu Zhang, a science student who loves history, applied for an engineering major under the pressure of real life, unable to delve deeper into his favorite history. Fortunately, God gave him a chance. I'll go, who hit me? I'm QNM. Liu Zhang felt someone hit him hard, feeling very painful. However, what he said was not national essence, but loud crying. Liu Zhang, who recognized reality, knew that he had become a baby. My language ability has not yet developed. Liu Zhongzheng, mother and son are safe. Good, good. There's a reward, everyone has a reward. Liu Zhang could hear the conversations of several adults in front of him, while he himself was curled up in a warm embrace, knowing that this was his mother in this lifetime. Husband, give your young son a name, Liu Zhang's mother said in a weak voice. Okay, I hope my young son can also become a national treasure in the future, let's call him Liu Zhang. This Liu Zhongzheng pondered for a moment and then had the answer. Ah. My name is Liu Zhang. I also have a legitimate father here. If I go, I won't be Liu Zhang who has traveled through the late Eastern Han Dynasty, will I? A surging wave surged in Liu Zhang's heart. His father is now Zhongzhen, one of the 9 ministers, and Liu Yan, who will continue to serve as the governor of Yizhou in the future. It was precisely he who proposed the strategy of abolishing history and establishing a governor, and he became the governor of Yizhou, causing the world to completely fall into division. However, since we have entered the chaotic era of the end of Han Dynasty and such superior conditions, we must create a career and no longer be the cowardly Liu Jiyu. The heavy responsibility of building the Han Dynasty will be entrusted to me. Brother Xuanda can rest now. Ding. Detected the host's awakening consciousness, and the binding of the Huaxia summoning system began. 3, 2, 1, binding completed. Although Tongzi is late, he arrived. With the system by his side, isn't he holding on to the whole world? System, introduce yourself. The function of this system is to summon various outstanding talents that have appeared in the history of China. Each talent has 4 indicators: military force, command, strategy, and political strategy. For women, monarchs, and some special talents, there are also corresponding 5 dimensions. These talents have different levels, including myths, legends, epics, and elites. The highest point of each value is 110 points, with one item between 105 and 110 being mythological talents, between 100 and 104 being legendary talents, 95 to 99 being epic talents, and 90 to 94 being elite talents. This system will release various tasks, and completing the tasks can obtain summoning cards at all levels. By winning the war, killing important prisoners of war, etc., you can also obtain summoning cards at all levels. Moreover, the system also provides considerate check.in services, which can earn money, food, weapons, armor, horses, military symbols, etc. through daily check.in. On the last day of each year, you can also obtain rare divine weapons and BMW, which can greatly enhance the attributes of talents. Oh, the system is checking in quickly. This is also my first time checking in. Please bring me the server opening reward quickly. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully signing in and receiving 10 coins. Ah, a little is better than nothing. My big business doesn't need that much money. You're really stingy with the system. The usual check.in reward is not too high, but the host perseveres and accumulates a considerable income. At present, the summoning function has not been activated due to the host not completing any tasks yet. By using summoning cards, you can choose a focus, and the system will randomly select 3 characters for the host to choose from. Okay, with such a powerful system around me, I'm afraid I won't be able to unify. Although there were many famous officials and generals during the Three Kingdoms period, compared to my options, they were still too limited. However, please be careful, the host. When binding the system detects signs of awakening of the world's heavenly Tao. When you use the system multiple times, it may be discovered and corrected for intervention. Therefore, please do not speculate based on common sense. Okay, it seems that the road ahead is still long. It's not as simple as I thought. System, do you have a beginner gift package or something? Let's have one. Liu Zhang's mind was engaged in intense communication, but the surface was still like a newborn, wrinkled and incredibly weak. Ding. Starting to distribute beginner gift packages, reward 1 mythological level summoning card, 1 legendary level summoning card, and 1 monarch template card. Okay. First, use the monarch template card, either Qin Emperor, Han Wu, Tang Emperor, or Song Zhu. Ding, extract 3 sets of templates for the host. First founder of the Han Dynasty Force. 90, Commander. 99, Strategy. 98, Political Strategy. 102, Charm. 105 Second Lu Che Force. 80, Commander. 88, Strategy. 88, Political Strategy. 105, Charm. 105 Third Emperor Guangwu of Han, Lu Xiu Force. 90, Command. 97, Strategy. 96, Politics. 100, Charm. 102 They are all from the old Lu family. Go to Xichuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, although there is no heavenly Khan or ancestral dragon, who would say that you have the blood of the old Lu family on your body. Liu Zhang is a bit conflicted, and these 3 can all be considered as the masters of great talent and strategy, especially Lu Xiu, who is blessed with good luck. The identity of the great demon master should not be too exaggerated. As for Emperor Wu of Han Lu Che, who conquered the Xiongnu and opened up the western regions, it can be said that under his rule, the Han people stood at the top of the east for the first time, overlooking other ethnic groups. But Liu Zhang pondered and pondered, if we really want to say that the combination of commanding troops to fight and selecting talents and abilities requires the Han Emperor Liu Bang, after all, in this chaotic era, what we need is the hard power to unify the world. System, I choose the Liu Bang template. Ding, fusion completed. At this moment, the outside environment suddenly changed, and the sky became gloomy. Soon, lightning and thunder began to flash. Black clouds pressed against the city of Luoyang, and a faint black shadow was surging among the clouds, looking like a giant dragon. At this moment, Emperor Ling of Han, Lu Hong, who was having a party in the palace, was suddenly startled by a muffled thunder. He immediately sent eunuchs outside to see what had happened. But soon the black clouds disappeared, and after the rain, the sky cleared. When the eunuch told Lu Hong about the sudden change in the sky, it also made Lu Hong's face uncertain. Fortunately, I didn't see the dragon's shadow, otherwise there would have been a storm in Luoyang city. And Lu Yan's face in Zongjing's mansion was even more brilliant. He seemed to have really seen a dragon shadow, instantly infiltrating his own mansion. All of this could be because of Liu Zhang, who had just been born. Naturally, there is no need to say what this anomaly means. Liu Yan quickly returned to the mansion and remained very low-key for several days. However, although all of this was caused by Liu Zhang in his swaddling clothes, he stayed quietly in his mother's arms, exhausted and asleep. Chapter 2. Initial Summoning. Soldiers, immortals, and generals all descend to the world. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, Liu Zhang's growth rate was extremely fast. While other children were still crawling on the ground, little Liu Zhang could already walk unsteadily, while others were still babbling, Xiao Liu Zhang could already express himself fluently. This child is like a prodigy like Ganluo, treated as a treasure by his family and even other influential families around him. When Liu Yan saw Liu Zhang, who was only 4 years old, start reading works such as Spring and Autumn Annals, Analects, and Book of Documents, he was even more pleasantly surprised. At the age of 7 or 8, he began to recite poetry and compose poems. When he demonstrated the literary style of the prosperous Tang dynasty ahead of time through the magnificent accumulation of later generations, it naturally made the people of the city think of it as a trend. As an old father, Liu Yan has a shining face and it's inevitable to show off when going out. And Xiao Liu Zhang looked at the first task in his taskbar on the system interface. Named Luoyang, and finally completed it. Ding, congratulations to the host. Complete the first task, reward an epic level summoning card, and activate the summoning function. Okay, get started quickly. First, use an epic level summoning card that focuses on strategy, then use a legendary level summoning card that focuses on force, and finally, use a mythological level summoning card that focuses on command. After all, top commanders during the Three Kingdoms period are unlikely to follow them, and must be prepared in advance. Ding, start planning to summon. The first great Ming talent Su Wei Force. 80, Commander. 90, Strategy. 98, Political Strategy. 97 The second Pingchen Strategist, Li Delin Force. 69, Commander. 88, Strategy. 98, Political Strategy. 95 The third Crazy Student Li Shiqi Force. 70, Commander. 78, Strategy. 99, Political Strategy. 93 Boy, is it just that epic level talent is so strong? Su Wei, a talented scholar of the Ming dynasty, once served as a staff member of Hu Zongxian. He was known for his arrogance in talent and strategy, curiosity in strategy, and frequent military discussions, helping Hu Zongxian capture Su Hai and lure Wang Ji. After Hu Zongxian was imprisoned, Su Wei committed suicide 9 times in fear and madness, but did not die. He was also imprisoned for 7 years for killing his stepwife. After traveling to the north, he once taught Li Rusong, the son of Li Qingliang, military tactics. In his later years, he was poor and claimed to be a southern tune northern tune. He eventually died in poverty, with only a dog by his side before his death, and there was not even a mat on his bed. The evening scenery is desolate, but it is truly versatile. He is proficient in poetry, calligraphy, and painting, and even more exaggerated is his research on military affairs. Li Delin, with the courtesy name Gongfu, is knowledgeable and talented, with strategic skills and a good writing ability. He was known as a child prodigy when he was young, and at the age of 16, he was renowned for his filial piety. Throughout the northern Qi, northern Zhou, and Sui dynasties, he was often highly valued. Yang Jian established the Sui dynasty, and Li Delin repeatedly presented strategies to Yang Jian to eliminate Chen. After the Battle of Chen was launched, Yang Jian often sent people to inquire about strategies from Li Delin and then handed them over to the commander. Chief Yang Guang. But Li Delin is straightforward, often offending his superiors, and relying on his talent and arrogance to offend many colleagues. He was ultimately demoted to the position of governor of Huaizhou and died of grief and anger. It can be said that without Li Delin, Yang Guangping and Nan Chen would not be so relaxed. As for Li Shiqi, he was even more famous as a diplomatic master who made great contributions to Liu Bang's unification of the world. When he first met Liu Bang, he couldn't show respect because he was enjoying soaking his feet, so he directly showed him his face. Upon seeing this, Liu Bang immediately respectfully invited him. Later, Li Shiqi did not disappoint Liu Bang's courtesy and used a strategy to capture Chen Lu, urging Qing generals to surrender without fighting and go down to Wuhuan. With his 3-inch tongue, he lobbied other countries and made significant contributions to Liu Bang's united front. Li Shiqi even sent envoys to the state of Qi, ordering Qi King Tianguang to surrender more than 70 cities to Han. Unfortunately, in the end, it was brutally cooked by the Qi King Tianguang in anger and died tragically in Ding. In the future, Sun Quan also used this move to threaten the envoy of Shu Han, Deng Zhi, but it was useless. After careful consideration, Liu Zhang still chose Su Wei. His versatility is worth learning from for Liu Zhang, who is still young, and his strategic and political skills are both excellent, playing a significant role in early entrepreneurship. System: select Su Wei. Ding: choose success. Su Wei implanted his identity as a talented teacher invited by Liu Yan, preparing to teach the host 6 arts and culture. Ding: start summoning with force. The first divine general Li Sai force. 103, Commander. 93, Strategy. 69, Political Strategy. 65 The second 100 people slay Xiaoluqi force. 104, Commander. 95, Strategy. 70, Political Strategy. 81 The third enemy of 10,000 people often encounter spring force. 102, Commander. 98, Strategy. 83, Political Strategy. 60 There are 3 more fierce generals. Mo Dao General Li Sai will always be the vanguard in every battle, heading towards the north. Liu is known as the Divine General. During the Lushan Rebellion, Sai repeatedly wielded a large stick to attack, and the bandits were invincible. After the recapture of the capital by King Guangping, the bandit chieftain Li Guiren stormed into the king's army, causing chaos and inability to form a formation. Sai said to Guizi, "If you don't go through 10,000 deaths today, your army will be of no kind." He stripped off his clothes and fought, holding a long sword and standing in front of the battle, shouting loudly. When Sai wielded the sword, his men and horses were shattered, killing more than 10 people, and his formation was stationed. The soldiers of the front army all wielded their long swords and marched forward like a wall. The heir ascended the throne first and fought hard, but the thief was defeated. In the battle of Xiangji Temple, he killed a bloody man and fought naked, making him a formidable warrior in the world. Chang Yuchen, not to mention the well-known Chang 100000, is the vanguard of the Yuan dynasty, with unparalleled courage and excellent archery skills. In every battle against the enemy, lead the way out, retreat the way back, and be 1,000,000 people, never losing the north. There is no greater merit than rescuing the emperor. Under Chen Youliang's command, the brave general Zhang Dingbian directly attacked the Taizu boat, but the boat was stuck in shallow water and almost in danger. In the midst of spring, he shot to the edge, and the Taizu boat escaped. In addition, the Yuan army of 50,000 Chen Luo was stationed north of the water. During the spring festival, a single cavalry burst into its formation, and more than 20 enemy cavalry gathered together to stab it. Yuchen hit his forward with a single arrow and shouted in, killing 20 people. The enemy suffered a great defeat. However, Xiaoluqi, who was relatively unfamiliar, was one of the 400-person slaying generals recorded in history, and his 100-person slaying battle was full of gold. Lu Qi held a gun and sword, defended Zhuangzong alone, killed more than 100 people with his hands, and was injured by more than 20, breaking free from Zhuangzong. Afterwards, he captured Wang Yanzhang and Zhuang Zongzhuangzi during the war. The difficulty of killing 100 people while defending Li Kungsu alone can be imagined. Liu Zhang was envious of all three of them, but considering it, he still chose a top-level guard to protect his own safety. Cao Cao had Dian Wei and Su Chu, Liu Bei had Zhao Yun and Chen Dao, and Sun Quan also had guards like Zhou Tai, so he couldn't fall behind himself. Zhaoshuyuan.com, System, select Karuchi. Ding, choose Success. Xiaoluqi is implanted as the host's guardian commander, and the host can often seek his martial arts advice. Ding, start commanding the summoning. The First Lord of Wuhuan, Li Mu Force. 91, Commander. 106, Strategy. 101, Political Strategy. 71 the Second Wu Mu Yu Fei Force. 102, Commander. 106, Strategy. 100, Political Strategy. 72 the Third Soldier Immortal Han Xian Force. 90, Commander. 108, Strategy. 103, Political Strategy. 79 good, worthy of being a mythological summoning card, these three are all famous war gods. Their deeds need no further introduction, they are all household names. Although Yuwumu is very greedy, I'm sorry, as a template for Liu Bang, Han Xian still has greater appeal. System, I choose Han Xian. Ding, choosing Success, Han Xian implanted his identity as the host and grew up with the host, possessing extremely strong military talent. At this moment, the system suddenly sounded an alarm. Warning, the heavenly Tao of this world has detected incoming talents, causing interference with this system. Warning, there are individuals who have not descended through the system. Detection completed, identity confirmed, a total of 3 people descended. The first, Zhang Qingqian, was implanted as one of the 10 permanent attendants. The second, Wang Yanzhang, was implanted as a colonel under Ding Yuan's command, and LV Bu became sworn brothers. The third, Wei Qing, was implanted as a descendant of the Wei family, replacing Wei Zhongdao in the original history. I'll go, these 3 characters are not ordinary people, especially Wei Qing and General Wei. They are one of the twin treasures of the empire. After having these people, the great Han can still continue his life. Chapter 3. Su Wei's initial examination of education and Liu Zhang's ambition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, at the age of 16, several talents summoned earlier entered the mansion. As Liu Zhang's master, Su Wei was quite young. It seemed that he had only recently gained a crown and was in the prime of his career. It was hard to imagine why he came to be this private tutor. But Liu Yan and Liu Zhang repeatedly emphasized how talented this young man was, urging Liu Zhang not to underestimate him. However, Su Wei calmly accepted Liu Yan's compliments. However, after practicing Shuxiu, the genius who was invited into the house by Liu Yan happily accepted Liu Zhang, a famous prodigy in the capital. However, Su Wei was not an ordinary person. On his first day of study, he did not teach any classics, but asked Liu Zhang how he viewed the current emperor. Liu Zhang understood Su Wei's loyalty and knew that he was just testing himself, not just following his words. After pondering for a while, he said calmly, the current emperor is close to petty people and far from wise officials. Selling officials and titles can alleviate temporary financial difficulties, but it has planted the root of trouble. Moreover, it is unknown how much money will go to the emperor's hands. Being lingering in the imperial palace is a way to damage the foundation. The current emperor does not trust aristocratic families and clans. Although aristocratic families are indeed untrustworthy, carving sheeping stone tablets and opening Hongdu Gate School, and taking away the power to interpret classics from aristocratic families, it has indeed broken the problem of aristocratic families monopolizing knowledge, but it has also deeply offended these powerful aristocratic families. Jew cannot solve the contradiction, and nowadays the power is still in the hands of eunuchs. Using eunuchs to balance relatives and aristocratic families is a way, but I do not believe that the current emperor has the skill and ability to maintain balance. Moreover, the world is difficult now, and there may be chaos in the future. After listening to Liu Zhang's insights, Su Wei immediately became interested. Previously, Liu Zhang's name as a prodigy and genius was not surprising to him and did not convince him. After all, he was a first-class genius. However, at this moment, in his eyes, Liu Zhang's image became more prominent, no longer a child, but a truly talented person who understood politics. And in his opinion, those rebellious and immoral words only revealed Liu Zhang's level and his inner self. So he continued to ask, "Have you heard of Liu Gongzi's aspirations?" Liu Zhang naturally knew that he needed to share his true thoughts with Su Wei in order to receive his full guidance. So he cleared his throat and straightened his voice, saying, "I observe the overall situation of the world. The fortune of the Great Han has declined, and it cannot be saved unless it is changed. However, my original surname Liu can only defend one side for the Great Han, accumulate strength, and wait for the situation to change before it becomes an opportunity to sweep the world and rebuild the Great Han. My original surname Liu is not a usurper, and I will follow the old story of Emperor Wu." Su Wei laughed heartily after listening and said, "Listening to the words of the young master is like thunder piercing through his ears." When Qing, Su Wei's character, admires him. Since the young master has great ambitions, Wei naturally pours all his resources to help him achieve great things. With a respectful bow, he changed his previous arrogance. Liu Zhang quickly helped Su Wei up and said, "Master Su, I cannot accept this great gift. I only hope to have Master Su's help and achieve great things together." Since Su Wei had already claimed to be the Lord, he naturally returned to his heart. "Teacher Su, I just have this idea now." "You still need your guidance on how to do it, Teacher Su." Liu Zhang humbly asked for advice. In fact, he had several plans in his mind, but he had not made a final decision yet. It was just a matter of listening to Su Wei's opinion. Suddenly, a figure broke in and said, "All right, Brother Zhang, you're going to rebel. Look at me not telling you too often, I'll smash your butt." I saw the person with a majestic face, a strong and light body, light and agile steps, a dignified demeanor, clear language, upright facial features, and bright eyes. It was Han Xian, the youngest son of Liu Zhang. Due to his tall stature and handsome appearance, Han Xian was appointed by Xiang Yu as a halberd-wielding physician, which can be said to have extremely high looks. Su Wei was immediately startled when he saw someone eavesdropping, but seeing that Liu Zhang's face was devoid of any color and there was a faint smile, he knew that this person was also Liu Zhang's confidant. So he arched his hand and asked, "I wonder who this young master is." "Hi, this kid is my childhood playmate. Because he looks handsome, he was taken into the mansion by my father and accompanied me to study. Because he longed for the deeds of the Marquis of Huayin, he named himself Han Xian. Don't say he doesn't read any books with me, just focus on military literature." "Xin, dare you tell Daddy?" "Forget it, tell Lord Taichung, who should I ask for my future general? Only the emperor can appoint a general, but today he has appointed a butcher as a general. If he has some ability, it's fine. But let's see, this person's rotten wood cannot be carved, and the wall of manure cannot be stained." Xiaohan Lang Jun's words are very reasonable. It seems that you have confidence in yourself, right? Su Wei felt that this wild young man also had a strong appetite for him, so he asked, which was also a thoughtful idea. "In my opinion, from ancient times to the present, apart from General Han Xian, Huo Piaoqi has also been a genius in warfare. When he said, Gu Fanglu is not as good as learning ancient military tactics. I think there is some truth to it. Military tactics are only one right and one strange, and with the right combination, one can win. In battle after formation, the regularity of military tactics and the ingenuity of their use are all ingrained in one's heart. This is actually Liu Zhang subtly telling Han Xian the famous quote of Yu Fei. Amazing, Han Xiaolang truly has a profound understanding of military affairs. The saying, battle after formation, the art of war, and the skillful use of it all come from one's heart can be included in Sun Tzu. Su Wei clapped his hands and praised it as wonderful. He also had a clear understanding of this future Han Xian, who had excellent talent. Brother Zhang, you said that the world will change. Do you need to inform Zhongzhen to prepare early? Han Xian suggested that since he knew that there was a big event about to arise and a chaotic era was approaching, he naturally needed to prepare early. But these underage boys naturally can't do anything, they can only let some influential Liu Yan do it. As for telling the emperor, I didn't even consider a second. Do you think my father has no ambition, but he is too greedy to expect what he has left for us? We must strive for it ourselves. The poor in this world long to be valued and break free from the shackles of the feudal system, and there are countless heroes and heroines with martial arts skills. If I can receive the help of these talents, I can naturally achieve great things by seeking help from Xichuan www.zhaoxuyuan.com, and you are not my initial team. Hahaha, if my lord has this ambition, why worry about not achieving great things? I will definitely tie a knot to repay the kindness of knowledge. Su Wei nodded and praised upon hearing this. Oh, my goal is just to hope that the people of the world can eat and dress warmly, no longer be bullied by foreigners, and to rebuild the glory of the Han Dynasty. The sun and moon shine, and the mountains and rivers reach, all of which are Han soil. All of this can only be gradually completed in that position of 95. Liu Zhang expressed his vision in his heart, causing Han Xian and Su Wei to tremble both physically and mentally, with a strange expression in their eyes. They knew that their choice was not wrong. Bangjie, you go notify the butler and take a portion of the money I earn from selling alcohol and refined salt. It's time to recruit forces. You should recruit young and strong refugees, preferably orphans, and train them into armies as a preparation. Liu Zhang said to a brave man outside the door, who was Xia Luqi, Liu Zhang's guard. Tall in stature, with a tiger's back and a bear's waist, possessing a golden spear and extraordinary swordsmanship, Liu Yan once praised him for not being inferior to the sword Saint Wang Yu. Obedience. Xia Luqi only obeyed Liu Zhang and couldn't even command Liu Yan. Although he deliberately suppressed the conversation between the people in the room just now, he, who was skilled in martial arts, heard it clearly. However, he was absolutely loyal, so Liu Zhang did not shy away from him and entrusted him with the task of nurturing soldiers in the underworld. Is the young master the one who brews snowflake salt and immortals drunk? Su Wei was somewhat surprised. These things appeared a few years ago and immediately became popular all over the world, absorbing countless gold. Unexpectedly, they were actually made by Liu Zhang. Oh, I give Zhang Rang so much money every year just to make others dare not take action and hide my identity. Now, I can say without exaggeration, buying a third prince is not a problem at all. Liu Zhang smiled, already calculating the future Yellow Turban Rebellion in his heart. Chapter 4. Qingmei Wenji and First Meet Wei Qing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Liu Zhang's literary style is well known in Luoyang, and as he grew older, his appearance became more handsome and his noble aura became more imposing. He is younger than the noble sons of Cao Cao, Yuan Shao, Yuan Shu, and others who used to live in Luoyang, so he can only consider himself a younger brother. However, Cao Cao could see that Liu Zhang was extraordinary. He was neither humble nor arrogant, humble and magnanimous. Liu Zhongzhen had 4 sons, and his 3 sons were all ordinary people, except for his young son Zhang who had the style of a great ancestor. This is a high praise given by Cao Cao. The 2 brothers of the Yuan family, relying on their family background and status as 4 generations and 3 dukes, do not pay much attention to Liu Zhang as a young brother. However, after all, they are Han family relatives, and their father is still the Zhongzheng. The necessary respect is still given. On this day, Liu Zhang and 3 others traveled outside the city and happened to meet a beautiful woman. This woman is also an acquaintance, and it is Wenji, the daughter of the great scholar Cai Yong. Previously, due to Cai Yong being exiled to Shuafang for his crimes, he could only seek refuge in Jiangnan. Fortunately, he had already been engaged to the Wei family in Hedong, so he married his daughter to Wei Zhongdao, the second son of the Wei family. This Wei Zhongdao is no longer the sickly seedling in the original history, but the incarnation of Wei Qing, the ancestor of the Wei family. Originally, Wenji was very worried about this unknown husband, as they were not familiar with each other. In addition, at that time, Liu Zhang was famous in Luoyang, which made Wenji, a talented woman obsessed with literature, secretly agree. When she married Wei Zhongdao, she was very nervous. But Wei Qing is truly a renowned general of his generation, with extraordinary magnanimity and great love for Wenji. He has a humble and gentlemanly demeanor. Wenji also felt a rare sense of stability in her life contact with Wei Qing. Her husband was very supportive of her talent, completely different from the narrowness of ordinary men. This moved Wenji very much, and she also supported her husband's dream of joining the military and serving the country. While Wei Qing was practicing martial arts and studying in her daily life, Wenji also took care of her daily life, and their married life was very harmonious. The Wei family is also very supportive of Wei Zhongdao's aspirations, hoping that he can restore the glory of his ancestors. Recently, they arranged for Wei Zhongdao to join the Yuan army through Qian Tuo's relationship and even established a small home in Luoyang. Wei Zhongdao returned to Luoyang with Wenji. Today, he happened to have some free time and accompanied his beloved wife to the outskirts for a trip. "Oh, isn't this Miss Wenji? Aren't you at the Wei family in Hedong? How did you go back to Luoyang? This is your Lang Jun, right?" Yuan Shu spoke up first, his behavior and words being frivolous. For this talented woman and beautiful woman, Yuan Shu, this playboy, has also been fascinated for a long time, but unfortunately, he has already married someone else. Now that I see her holding a man's hand, I don't have to guess it must be Wei Zhongdao. The Yuan family is huge and has strong power in the court. It is very easy to inquire about the identity of Wei Zhongdao. He has long known that Wei Zhongdao is just a small feathered forest man, a small official of only 300 stones. Compared to his family background of 4 generations and 3 nobles, even his Hunan governor is a high-ranking official of 2,000 stones. He couldn't help but show himself well and satisfy his vanity. Wei Qing saw the newcomer with sly eyebrows and mouse eyes, as if he still knew his wife. He immediately stood in front of Wenji, placing his hand on his sword. "Who are you? How do you know my wife?" Seeing the visitor dressed in luxurious attire, it seems difficult to get along with him. Although his Hedong Wei family has some influence, there may be some big shots in the capital, so it's better to be careful. Upon seeing this, Yuan Shao and Liu Zhang immediately stepped forward and bowed, saying, "This brave warrior, our ancestors, and Kai Daru are old acquaintances, and we have also known Miss Kai since childhood. Just now, the road did not indicate our identity and purpose, and we collided with Madam. We apologize." Yuan Shu, on the other hand, looked embarrassed. Your words made him feel like he had made a big mistake, and he could only respond calmly, "I am the Yin Yuan Highway of Hunan. My father, Sikong Yuan Feng, and Kai Dejia are old acquaintances." Wei Qing had a calm expression on his face, bowing his hand to meet everyone, but there were turbulent waves in his heart. As expected, all of them were noble young masters, and their families were either wealthy or noble. If he had acted impulsively just now, he would have surely caused a big disaster. Cao Cao, behind the 3 of them, secretly looked at Wenji, who was over 7 feet long, with thin eyebrows and big eyes, a towering nose bridge, red lips and white teeth like jade, and red lips dotted with vermilion, very charming. The cute neighbor sister who used to be a child showed the beauty of a mature young woman when she first got married, causing Cao Cao's heart to race and his face to blush. When Liu Zhang introduced himself, Wei Qing was also surprised. He had long heard of Liu Zhang's talent, and even his wife highly praised him. Moreover, his extremely accurate eyes could easily detect his wife's unusual expression when talking about Liu Zhang. So Wei Qing also learned that Liu Zhang was such a prominent figure, which seemed to hold a high position in his wife's heart. It is impossible to say that Liu Zhang is not jealous at all, but during the conversation, it was found that Liu Zhang was very young and had not even been crowned. His words were humble and polite, which made Wei Qing have a good impression of Liu Zhang, much better than the other three. When Liu Zhang asked about Wei Qing's work, he found out that the current emperor had no intention of military affairs, and the imperial guards were also loosely equipped and exhausted for a long time. As one of the few well-trained individuals, Wei Qing actually lived a very uncomfortable life in the military, even being excluded and having no hope of promotion. If you want to be promoted, it all depends on how much money you give. Even if your family is big and successful, they cannot withstand their layers of exploitation. Recently, they have been restless and have gone out with their wife to relax. Others listened to Wei Qing's confession and were also very moved. They were all young and full of energy, and naturally couldn't stand the filth in the officialdom. However, it was only a verbal outburst. After all, their families had a deep background, and in other words, they were the beneficiaries of this filth. And they don't really value Wei Zhongdao. After all, it's really difficult to do things without anyone in the court. But Liu Zhang was well aware of Wei Qing's abilities. He went to Xichuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com to find out that this was a rare opportunity to win over Wei Qing, and soon the Yellow Turban Rebellion would arise. If he could win over Wei Qing to him, his future help would be immeasurable. Liu Zhang once studied the prosperity of Boss Chow, and among them, the Wei family in Hedong provided the first bucket of gold to Boss Chow. Moreover, Wei coveted this future important minister of Chow Wei, who is said to be Wei Zhongdao's brother. If Wei Qing followed Boss Chow in the future, the threat to himself would be too great. Brother Wei has great ambitions, and Liu admires him. My father is still decent in the court and can help you operate. Liu Zhang said calmly, without showing any intention to win over, but with a tone of bargaining. Wei Qing saw that Liu Zhang was willing to help, but he definitely had to pay the price himself. He pondered and calculated in his heart. He didn't know what he could do to repay Liu Zhang, but seeing the rare opportunity, he finally spoke up for help. However, in the end, he added, I will do my best to repay the young master. After saying this, he bowed solemnly. When Liu Zhang saw the atmosphere, he immediately picked up Wei Qing and solemnly said, I hope that in the future, Wei Jun can emulate the former general of Wei and become the pillar of our Han Lu family. His tone was not too touching. Wei Qing was taken aback and said, Our Wei family has always been blessed by heaven. Zhongdao must have been devastated, ensuring that I, the great man, have no worries. His face was very excited. In his eyes, Liu Zhang's figure had become incredibly tall. This statement, spoken from a Han family relative, had a great killing power on ordinary people, and thus Liu Zhang's goal was achieved. The other four were still a bit confused, not knowing why Liu Zhang needed to win over such a small feathered forest man, but they were not interested in meddling and just scattered to play. Liu Zhang couldn't help but talk to Wei Qing. The two of them chatted happily like old friends, while Wenji beside them only smiled and added tea to the tea. Chapter 5. Zhang Qingye, Alternative 10 Attendants. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. After returning home, Liu Zhang found Liu Yan and talked to him about his encounter with Wenji and Wei Qing today. He hoped to find a better job for Wei Qing, and the expenses for management would be covered by himself. Liu Yan, seeing that Liu Zhang rarely asked him to handle things, asked curiously, "What kind of person is that Wei Zhongdao? If he were just a child of the Wei family in Hedong, he would never be able to catch your eye. I am very clear about this. Since you have taken the initiative to help and want to bring him over, there must be someone who has been there before." "You guessed it well, father. I have discussed marching and formation with him before. He is a person with great insights into military affairs, and listening to him deduce the war situation has similarities and differences with his younger brother." "Oh. People who are similar to him must also have extraordinary talents, born to be talented in war. Unfortunately, with the decline of the imperial court now, it is difficult to give them a chance to showcase their talents." Liu Yan supported his beard and said that it was already the year of destiny to start considering the future of the family. He squinted his eyes, pondered for a moment, and said to Liu Zhang beside him, "Zhang'er, you will become an adult in a few days. Since you have abundant financial resources, I plan to arrange a governor for you to relocate a part of your family, so that we can ensure the stability of our family for a lifetime in the future. Yangzhou, Zhou, and Jingzhou are all good choices. Your brothers are not capable, so you can only stay in the capital. If that's not the case, let's manage the state and county for you." Liu Yan expressed his plans, and he was also very clear that the current court was on the brink of life and death, rushing towards the cliff with great speed. He was unwilling to accompany this Han family for burial, so he had to choose a place to manage it well in case of any changes. Liu Zhang understood Liu Yan's meaning, but he didn't want to run to a corner of southern tranquility. Although Jingyang was wealthy, what he wanted was to sweep the world from north to south. Therefore, he spoke of his own choice. "Father, I plan to go to Yuzhou and arrange for Han Xian to go to Bingzhou, while resisting northern foreign tribes and accumulating strength to go south. If my father is willing, he can now in the capital, timely propose to the emperor the arrangement of abolishing history and establishing animal husbandry, and then go to Yizhou to shelter his family. The emperor will not let our family seize the power of the 3 provinces. Moreover, although the north is bitter and cold, it is also very important for the elite border army to deal with foreign tribes. The emperor will not let go." Liu Yan shook his head, not wanting his most valued son to take risks. Father, the current emperor may not allow it, but later generations cannot control us. The emperor is indulging in debauchery, and the length of his life is still unknown. The 2 princes are still young, Liu Zhang casually said in a rebellious tone. Liu Yan's eyes opened with a strange glow in his eyes. "On the day of your coronation, I will invite Zhang Qingye over and follow your arrangements," he said. He got up and prepared to leave, but then stopped and whispered, "You'll probably need to find a wife to take care of you. When you go to the border in the future, you'll all be fighting Han." Liu Zhang pretended not to hear, bowed lightly to his father, turned around and left to find Su Wei and Han Xian to discuss future plans. Time flies by, and in the blink of an eye, it was Liu Zhang's coming-of-age ceremony. The Zongjing mansion was bustling with activity, and most of the wealthy families in Luoyang City sent people to deliver congratulatory gifts. The Yuan family, the Chao family, the Yang family, and others, as well as Wei Qing and Kai Wenji, were also invited and one step ahead of the others. They were invited into the back hall to chat happily with Liu Zhang, Han Xian, and others, avoiding being troubled by a group of young people. "I am very grateful that everyone can come today to attend the coronation ceremony of my young son Liu Zhang. A glass of thin wine, please drink together." Liu Yan raised his wine bottle and drank it all in one gulp. Everyone raised their glasses to celebrate, and for a moment, both guests and guests were delighted. After drinking a few more glasses, Liu Yan shrugged off his drunkenness and came to the back hall to rest. He arranged for his eldest son Liu Dan and youngest son Liu Zhang to host the banquet. Liu Zhang, wearing a crown to protect his identity, paid tribute to every guest who toasted him. Here, he dared not drink the distilled and purified immortal wine, but rather a sweet wine, so as not to die of drunkenness. Each guest has now been addressed by Jiyu as Liu Zhang. In the future, except for parents who can use their first name Liu Zhang, calling others by their first name will be seen as a very impolite and offensive behavior. This is also a symbol of adulthood for men, a form of respect for adults. At the same time, Liu Yan was talking to someone different from ordinary guests, who was Zhang Qingye, one of the 10 constant attendants. Chengye has a tall stature, although his face is white and unnecessary, he has a kind face, unlike Zhang Rang, Zhao Zhong, and others who have a sly and cunning appearance. Although this person is a eunuch, he maintains a good relationship with high-ranking scholars. Although he also collects money to help others, he never constructs traps or harms others. He often reminds Liu Hong not to be greedy for the harem and not to squander money recklessly. He did not have a very good relationship with Zhang Rang and others, but instead had a harmonious relationship with LV Chang, thus being seen as an alternative. But after all, he held a high position of power in the palace and was also very important in the eyes of Emperor Ling. Therefore, Liu Yan hoped to follow his relationship and arrange for Liu Zhang and the others to leave. Making the young master's literary talent soar is well known among the people in Luoyang City, but he is also proficient in martial arts, which is really surprising. Haha, I'm also glad that he can be both civil and military, serving the court. Liu Yan negotiated with Zhang Qingye, knowing that it would be a difficult choice to hand over the affairs and military affairs of a state to a young adult. Even if Zhang Qingye took the money, he wouldn't dare to promise. Zhaozuiyuan.com, I can give him the governor of Yuzhou, and Tao Qian doesn't want to stay in that cold place, but don't think about Bingzhou. Firstly, the emperor won't trust to hand over all the 2 border armies to your family, and Dong Zhuo won't agree. As for the Yulin Lang you mentioned, let him become a military commander in Yuzhou. Finally, Zhang Qingye gave his bottom line. Liu Yan understood that no amount of money could solve the problem, so he agreed. Why does your young son want to go to such a place in the bitter cold of Yuzhou, where foreign races are rampant? Zhang Qingye was curious. How could this famous nobleman from Luoyang take the initiative to go to that place or to the border of Yuzhou? My son also hopes to serve the court, restore the dignity of the Han Dynasty, and hope that Zhang Changsher can speak a few words of goodwill for his son from His Majesty's place. Liu Yan politely escorted Zhang Qingye away through the back door, along with several carriages loaded with treasures and fine wine. A few days later, the palace issued an edict to appoint Liu Zhang as the governor of Yuzhou, and he immediately took office. Han Xian, Wei Qing, and others were also arranged to work as Liu Zhang's assistants in Yuzhou. Liu Zhang knelt down to accept the order and express gratitude, feeling a surge of pride in his heart. He knew that it was time to establish his own foundation in Yuzhou. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the mission. Entering the officialdom for the first time. Obtaining the position of governor of Yuzhou rewards you with a legendary summoning card. The system's prompt sound sounded, and this was the first time in recent years that the prompt sound of completing the mission was heard, which was incredibly pleasing to Liu Zhang's ears. Over the past decade, despite accumulating a large amount of money, food, and troops, there have been no summoning cards. The day of crazy expansion is coming now, and the first step is to completely solve the Northern Alien Rebellion before the Yellow Turban Rebellion. Brother Xin, Zhong Dao, Su Shi, and Brother Xia, let's prepare to set off. Liu Zhang gathered everyone and said boldly. Obey me. Chapter 6. Travel to Yingchuan, Visiting Talents. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, Master, shouldn't we cross the river north when we go to Yuzhou? Why should we go south to Yingchuan County? Su Wei asked Liu Zhang in the car. He saw that the surrounding scenery didn't look like the north bank of the Yellow River, so he asked Liu Zhang. Unexpectedly, he led his team south and entered Yingchuan County. Wenqing is not sure. We are going to Yingchuan to search for a few talented people for my use. Liu Zhang smiled and said, some of them should be very compatible with your temper. You should be a student from Yingchuan Academy, right? Su Wei suddenly became interested. Then let's go meet the great talent mentioned by the Lord. The group of people drove quickly into Yingchuan County. From the map, Yingchuan was very close to Luoyang, with only one important pass between them, Hulao Pass, blocking the enemy. Therefore, this is also the reason why Emperor Ling of Han was particularly anxious to form an army to eliminate the Yellow Turban Army during the Yingchuan Yellow Turban Rebellion. He had no choice but to be too close to home. Yingchuan Academy is exactly the destination of the group. In fact, it is just a private school run by the aristocratic families of Yingchuan County, allowing future generations to study here. As the capital of the Xia dynasty, it still had a prosperous cultural heritage when it reached the Eastern Han Dynasty. The original dean of Yingchuan Academy was Sun Shu, who was of noble character, profound knowledge, and wise in understanding people. During the reign of Emperor Hanan, he was recruited as a Langzhong and appointed as the magistrate of Dangtu County. After leaving his post, he returned to his hometown and befriended the world-renowned figures such as Li Gu and Li Ying. During the reign of Empress Dowager Liang, she was envied by the general Yang Ji and was granted the position of Marquis of Langliang. And his 8 sons are known as the 8 dragons of the Sun family. The most famous among them is Sun Shuang, who once served as a Langzhong but resigned from his position. He is the current dean, known as the 8 dragons of the Sun family, unparalleled in compassion, and later was forcibly conscripted by Dong Zhuo as the Minister of Works. He also has a famous daughter, known in history for her chastity and heroism, named Sun Kai. As for the well-known Wang Zhuo Kai Sun Yu, he was the grandson of Sun Shu, and Cao Cao's mastermind Sun Yu was Sun Yu's nephew. Cao Cao called him Zhong Zheng, conspired to pacify both the inside and outside, and was well-mannered. Gongda was second to him. This shows his intelligence. At this time, the news of Liu Zhang and his group entering Yingchuan had already spread to the academy, and the students couldn't help but talk. Liu Zhang's talent and reputation had long been well-known among scholars in the world, and some of his great works were also widely spread. Yingchuan was no exception. Wenruo, why do you think Governor Liu won't go to Yuzhou to work and come to Yingchuan? A weak scholar asked softly. Sun Yu was one of the best in their generation, so he naturally took him first. Since Governor Liu is going to the border of Yuzhou, he naturally needs talent to assist him. Yingchuan has a plethora of talents which naturally attracts envoys. A dissolute scholar interjected, with a wine gourd tied around his waist. If it weren't for today's class, he would probably have fallen asleep drunk. What Fengxiao said is extremely accurate. Sun Yu affirmed. The envoy has outstanding literary talent, but he is still a novice in governing the military and politics, and naturally needs the assistance of his staff. Chen Chongwen pondered, as he came from a prestigious Qin family and was the grandson of Chen Shi, the head of Taiqiu, and the son of Chen Ji, the son of Dehonglu, Chao Wei. He was thinking whether Liu Zhang would agree or not if he spoke up. After all, in the bitter and cold land of Yuzhou, there was no place that could compare to Zhongling Yuxiu in Yingchuan. We cannot be afraid of hardship when making achievements, but whether Liu Shijun deserves our assistance or not still needs to be observed and observed. The speaker was a sick and weak scholar. Just as everyone was discussing excitedly, Dean Sun Shuang had already welcomed Liu Zhang and his group outside the academy. Liu Shijun, welcome to Yingchuan Academy. At a young age, you have already served as the governor of Yizhou. You are truly young and promising. Sun Shuang was very polite. If ordinary people came to Yingchuan Academy, it would be impossible for him to be so condescending and welcoming. However, Liu Zhang has a literary name and is well-known among literati, so the dean personally came to welcome him. Uncle Siming, my father asked me to say hello to you on his behalf. Thank you very much for your hospitality, uncle. I can't wait to see the world-renowned talent of Yingchuan. Ha ha ha, everywhere, there's just a group of children, there's no big deal. As they spoke, everyone in the room also poked their heads out. System, take a look at the attributes of these people. Liu Zhang walked in with a smile and greeted everyone. The leader was Sun Wenrua, who politely saluted Liu Zhang, a relative of the Han family, with generous and considerate behavior. Sun Yu Force. 64, Commander. 89, Strategy. 99, Political Strategy. 104. Next came a scholar with a slight alcohol smell, and Liu Zhang could vaguely guess his identity. Guojia Force. 55, Commander. 90, Strategy. 103, Political Strategy. 90. Afterwards, there will also be Dramatic Talents Force. 50, Commander. 85, Strategy. 99, Political Strategy. 93. Sun Yu Force. 64, Commander. 88, Strategy. 104, Political Strategy. 98. Chen Kun Force. 61, Commander. 86, Strategy. 95, Political Strategy. 102. Zhongyao Force. 62, Commander. 90, Strategy. 95, Political Strategy. 100. Okay, all of them are talents. Liu Zhang couldn't help but swallow his saliva when he saw these people. With a wave of his small hoe, he didn't even dig down Boss Chow's house. So Liu Zhang sat upright and declared his purpose to the talented scholars. I am a relative of the Han family, but I am deeply saddened to see that the corrupt officials in the current court are in power, and that the eldest husband is useless in the land of martial arts. I also see the recent changes in the barbarian tribes in Baiguan, and I am willing to protect the border for the Han family. I hope everyone can help me. Sun Yu was somewhat touched. He knew that the Han dynasty was declining today, and the emperor could not be considered wise. The 10 constant attendants hold the court, and the party's shackles remain unresolved. These descendants of aristocratic families have no way to serve the country. Now the invitation from the Han family, who are rooted in Miaohong, has moved Sun Yu, who is loyal to the Han family in his heart. At this moment, Su Wei, who came in with Liu Zhang, said, "You are all wise people. We know that there are hidden troubles in the world today. We only hope to preserve the spark for the Han dynasty and save the people of the world in times of turmoil." Su Wei's words were quite blatant, which made Guojia, who had not paid much attention to them, look directly at Liu Zhang. Sun Yu is very conflicted. Is it rare that the current Han dynasty is really hopeless? Liu Zhang suddenly said to the physically and mentally ill Zizikai beside him, "Brother, I see that you are not feeling well. Do you have any discomfort?" Shijitsai sighed lightly and said, "I have recently contracted a cold and was born weak. Even now, I am not doing well." Liu Zhang removed a pair of medicines from the system warehouse and said, "Young master, you can take this medicine and it will definitely improve within 3 days." Liu Zhang discovered that Shijitsai was infected with viral influenza, which is easy to treat with modern medicine. Shijitsai immediately reached out his hands to take it, looking at the strange granular object with some hesitation, but still took water and took it. "Thank you, Lord Liu, for giving me medicine." Shijitsai is not the son of a noble family, but rather an ordinary humble family. He was deeply moved by Liu Zhang's courtesy. Liu Gongzi, with only 3 feet of ambition and low fortune, is willing to die for him. Liu Shijun has this great ambition, and I am willing to serve. Sun Yu made up his mind and arched his hand. Sun Yu is willing to follow. Sun Yu almost agreed at the same time. Since you have all agreed, why do I, Guofeng Shao, have any reason to shirk? No one will accompany me to drink then. Guojia laughed heartily and opened the wine gourd to take a deep sip. Liu Zhang was extremely excited. Although other scholars claimed to be discussing with their families, Liu Zhang had already completed the purpose of his trip and was very happy. With a big wave of his hand, he hosted a banquet to entertain the wise. Everyone talked happily, pushing cups and changing cups one by one, especially Su Wei and Guojia, who were both talented and straightforward, with similar tastes. While everyone was drinking, there was a beautiful figure hidden outside the door, occasionally arranging drinks and food to be served. His expression was somewhat excited, and he often peeked at Liu Zhang at the head of the table. Unfortunately, Sun Xuan, who was far away, saw this scene in its entirety. His heart suddenly tightened and he had no choice but to quietly step forward. Chapter 7 Chasing Tigers Across the Gully. The Evil of Ancient Times. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Congratulations to the host for recruiting local heroes from the Three Kingdoms, with a team of 4 and a reward of 1 legendary summoning card. When the number of recruits reaches 5, reward 1 legendary level summoning card. When the number of recruits reaches 10, reward 1 mythical level summoning card. Okay, this is also another way for me to accumulate summoning cards. Liu Zhang happily drank a few more glasses with his advisors, his face turning red, indicating great excitement. Suddenly, he saw a graceful figure outside the door. As he looked around, he discovered a beautiful woman. However, in an instant, his gaze seemed to be caught, and the figure turned around and disappeared. Liu Zhang suddenly felt a sense of loss, like a moment in Wuhuan, where it would be difficult to meet again. Pick up the glass again and drink it all in one gulp. Sun Yu and others present noticed that Liu Zhang was not in high spirits, and for some reason, he suddenly did so they stopped toasting warmly. At this moment, a person walked into the door and it was the dean of the academy, Sun Xuan. Liu Zhang immediately stood up and welcomed him into the seat. He said to Liu Zhang, "My dear nephew, the road ahead is not smooth for you to take office in Yuzhou. I hope you will take good care of yourself. With the talents of Yingchuan Academy, I can lend a helping hand. Taking this opportunity, I would like to offer you a toast, hoping that you can make contributions and serve the court." Sun Xuan took a cup of wine from the woman behind him and drank it with Liu Zhang. Liu Zhang was well-mannered and drank everything in his glass, but when he put down his glass, he saw the woman behind Sun Xuan. Dressed in a graceful green shirt, with a touch of peach red and a lotus-shaped pavilion. Slowly moving the golden lotus, holding a cup of delicate jade bamboo shoots. Liu Zhang was stunned. As a bachelor of 2 lifetimes, he had never seen such a pure and natural beauty before. Even before, Wenji married someone else's wife and was a beautiful and charming young woman, unable to give herself a heart-pounding feeling. Now this beautiful woman made his heart skip a beat. Sun Xuan also noticed that Liu Zhang was stunned inside in his heart. On the surface, he still laughed and said, "Jiyu, this woman is my beloved daughter Sun Kai. She just peeked at the door, and I brought her to apologize to you." Sun Xuan's tone was very polite. Liu Zhang was taken aback, but saw that Sun Kai's face was slightly red, his eyes seemed to dodge, but there was a smile on the corner of his mouth. Liu Zhang immediately understood and grabbed Sun Xuan's hands, saying, "What's wrong with the old man? Your beloved is as graceful as a startled swan and as graceful as a wandering dragon. She is truly a rare beauty, and I dare not blame her." Sun Xuan coughed lightly and said, "Jiyu thinks my daughter is good. You don't know, she's your fan. Every time your new poetry comes out of Luoyang, you have to personally copy and transcribe it, and read it day and night." Upon hearing his father's words, Sun Kai immediately blushed with embarrassment, like a blooming peach blossom, evoking affection. Dad is playing tricks on his daughter again. Sun Xuan saw that the time had come and proposed to Liu Zhang that he hoped his daughter would marry him. He would discuss the matter of marriage with Liu Yan, and then you would arrange it properly in Yuzhou and come back to get married. Liu Zhang hesitated no longer and immediately agreed, even changing his title to Sun Xuan. And Sun Kai took the initiative to invite Liu Zhang to visit the scenery of Yingchuan, which made Sun Xuan exclaim that he was losing money. Take away the two heroes of my Sun family, and even kidnap my precious daughter. If Liu Zhang knew, he would have said, if it weren't for himself, do you know how miserable your daughter will be in the future? Even if it were for political alliances, you wouldn't have seen how much you care about your daughter. My father asked me to marry you, but in fact, this is all a bet placed by the Sun family on you. Sun Kai whispered in Liu Zhang's ear, placing her hand on Liu Zhang's embroidered robe, which she had previously asked her mother for advice on and embroidered with each stitch. Now putting it on your husband's shoulder with your own hands can be considered a dream come true. It's okay, as long as I know your sincerity, it's enough. When I come back, I will let you marry into the Liu mansion with all your might. Liu Zhang held Sun Kai's delicate hand and bid her farewell with deep affection. He turned around and mounted his horse, walking north with his original team and newly recruited advisors. They will pass through Chenlu County and enter Yuzhou through Jizhou. After entering Chenlu County, Liu Zhang asked his soldiers to pay attention to whether there were brave warriors to recruit. Everyone still marched as usual, and just as they reached a small river, they suddenly heard a tiger roar. Han Xian and Wei Qing immediately commanded everyone to line up and wait, while Xia Luqi drew out his long spear and protected Liu Zhang's side. As the sound of the tiger's roar gradually approached, another loud shout came, "You big bug! Don't run!" A person carrying a long sword chased after the tiger. The tiger was clearly afraid of being chased, not even looking back. The door ran forward, but the people behind him walked briskly. The tiger could not escape. There was a deep ravine ahead, and the tiger leaped over with a leap. However, he was greeted by a sharp arrow shot by Xia Luqi, deeply piercing into the tiger's eyebrows. The tiger immediately fell to the ground, twitching its limbs a few times before becoming lifeless. And the tiger chasers behind also appeared, realizing that their prey had been shot dead by someone else, and immediately became a little embarrassed and angry. Who dares to steal your Grandpa Diane's prey without long eyes? As expected, this person must be Dian Wei. I saw Dian Wei standing tall and extraordinary, holding a long sword in his hand and carrying a double halberd on his back, with extraordinary physical strength. The muscles on the body are like muddy iron, with a piercing beard, like a demon. Liu Zhang immediately felt a desire to recruit. This brave warrior, chasing tigers across the valley, is truly extraordinary. Would you be willing to join me in the battle and serve the country? Dian Wei Jian was led by a young man wearing armor and riding a tall horse. Are you from the government? I have committed a crime, can you help me get rid of it? Liu Zhang knew that Dian Wei had once committed murder under duress, but this was not considered a crime in the Han Dynasty. It was called being chivalrous in character, enjoying kindness and enmity. No problem, I am Liu Zhang, the governor of Yuzhou. You will follow me from now on, and no one will come to trouble you. Dian Wei saw that this person was actually the governor and immediately paid his respects. Thank you very much, sir. Shaoran Dianwei is willing to serve his dogs and horses. Then he said softly, Sir, is it enough for me to serve as a soldier? Liu Zhang laughed heartily and said, absolutely enough. There's also wine and meat. Dian Wei immediately smiled and said, okay, I'll go with you. Liu Zhang looked at the data of Dian Wei through the system. Dian Wei Force 103, Commander. 75, Strategy. 52, Political Strategy. 34 He is indeed a fierce general. Congratulations to the host for recruiting 5 local heroes and rewarding them with a legendary summoning card. Okay, I have already accumulated 3 legendary summoning cards in my hand now. It's time to summon a wave and then push the grassland flat. System, using 3 legendary summoning cards, 2 focusing on force and 1 focusing on strategy. Ding, if the total number of summoned characters exceeds 5, the obstruction of the local heavenly way will increase. First place Yang Zixing, a blood battle small commercial bridge force. 102, Commander. 89, Strategy. 76, Political Strategy. 55 second place in Mengxian Chen Shuerengui Force. 104, Commander. 100, Strategy. 89, Political Strategy. 71 third place male and female eyes are always lush force. 102, Commander. 91, Strategy. 85, Political Strategy. 56 I will go, my wise minister of Qingmei, with 3 arrows fixed on the Tian Shan mountains, and Shuerengui, who takes off his hat and retreats from all enemies. No need to say, it's just him. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining Shuerengui, implanted with the identity of Daijun Prefect. He is extremely fearful in the eyes of other tribes in the northern region. Start the second summon first place White Horse and Silver Spear Luo Qing Force. 103, find Xichuan www.zhaoxuyuan.com Commander. 89, Strategy. 78, Political Strategy. 67 second place Eating 24408 Force. 103, Commander. 97, Strategy. 76, Political Strategy. 81 third place Flying General Li Guang Force. 103, Commander. 95, Strategy. 81, Political Strategy. 78 Okay, these 3 people are also too difficult to choose, especially Luo Cheng and Li Guang. One is Luo Cheng, a handsome and capable fighter with a silver spear and a white horse, and the other is Li Guang, a flying general who can shoot arrows without stone edges. Liu Zhang hesitated for a while, but still chose Li Guang. This time, he won't let you get lost again. I hope you can regain the power of my Han army. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining Li Guang. He has been implanted as the right Beiping prefect and has been fighting against the Xianbei people of Wuhuan for years. Ding, start the political call first place Fang Madujuan and Fang Xianling Force. 67, Commander. 87, Strategy. 101, Political Strategy. 103 second place The wisdom of recognizing people is high force. 68, Commander. 90, Strategy. 102, Political Strategy. 104 third place A late bloomer, Yao Chong Force. 66, Commander. 78, Strategy. 97, Political Strategy. 102 is Gao Zong, one of the 9 elders of the Sui dynasty, or Fang Xianling, the one who determined the Qianquan era. Let's stick to Gao Zong, after all, this is a famous minister detector. Yang Su, Su Wei, He Ruobi, Han Qinhu, and Li Xichuan were all recommended by him. It can be said that he is a famous minister bull. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the high rank and planting the identity of Zhuo County Prefect. Wait a moment. Zhuo County Governor. Ding, influenced by the heavenly way, the characters who have descended without systematic summoning this time are. Chapter 8. The arrival of the Wanyan family and the changes in the Grassland. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, the host summons more than 5 people, and each subsequent summoning will result in the reincarnation of 3 people, with random ownership. The identity of the personnel is hereby announced. The first Jin Taizu Wanyan Aguda Force. 99, Commander. 99, Strategy. 97, Political Strategy. 98 Implanted Identity. Xianbeis in Chenyu, eager to unify the Grassland, heading south to dominate the Central Plains. The second Wanyan Golden Bullet Force. 103, Commander. 87, Strategy. 80, Political Strategy. 75 Implanted Identity. The son of Wanyan Aguda, the third man Yen Zombi Force. 100, Commander. 100, Strategy. 99, Political Strategy. 81 Implanted Identity. The son of Wanyan Aguda, the fourth Adhesive Force. 104, Commander. 97, Strategy. 90, Political Strategy. 78 Implanted Identity. Wanyan Agu, the top general under the command of Qingmei. The 5th Chao Ning Force. 103, Commander. 89, Strategy. 78, Political Strategy. 67 Implanted Identity. Cao Cao's younger brother, I'll go, you're not mistaken about the system. The talent pool I've worked hard to accumulate here, Wanyan Aguda, has recruited all of them in one wave, and each one is of extremely high-quality talent. Are you deliberately adding difficulty to my grassland cultivation? Host, please note that this is a hindrance from the heavenly Tao of this world. He will make a significant attempt to reverse the mistakes caused by the host, which is why he will greatly strengthen the grassland power. However, the host does not need to worry, and I believe that with the host's wisdom, it will definitely be solved. I'm convinced, but fortunately I have a strategist team. I need to find a way to give this group of Qingmei a big gift. Liu Zhang pondered, and he had already accumulated strong strength through Chengye, which could easily lead to a decisive battle with Qingmei. Bongjie, are our secret forces ready? Liu Zhang said to Xiao Luqi, who was always guarding by his side. Report to Lord, we are ready and under General Han's command, we can definitely unleash the power of these tiger heads. General Xiao Luqi, who was so majestic, couldn't help but smile when he mentioned this unit. After hearing this, Liu Zhang smiled slightly. He knew that if he could get Xiao Luqi's recognition, then this unit would already have the combat power that surpasses the Central Plains. Over the course of 5 years, Liu Zhang carefully selected 10,000 strong young people from among the refugees, and invested all the signed in provisions, money, horses, and weapons and armor into them. He also secretly took out the 3 treasures of horses from later generations, including horseshoes, high bridge saddles, and bilateral stirrups. With the help of these 3 divine tools, one can train an invincible iron cavalry. At this moment, within the territory of Jizhou, elite cavalry dressed in black armor was marching, ensuring that no one spoke or left behind during the march. Everyone held a horse spear, crossed the waist with a ring and head knife, and even their face was covered by a face armor, like a fierce ghost. The warhorses are also armored, and the entire team is like a black dragon, rushing straight towards northern Xinjiang. Originally, some of the bandits who had been apprehended in Jizhou were ambushed, but they found such an army that they were frightened and fled. The surrounding villages were safer than usual. Their movements have been kept as secretive as possible, but they are still inevitably discovered. Among them is a man who is completely dark and has a yellow scarf wrapped around his arm, who secretly observes and then returns to a village. Big brother, there is an unknown iron cavalry crossing through Jizhou. It looks like there are about 10,000 people, all elite soldiers, and it seems that they are going to the border of Yuzhou. This person is Zhang Bao, one of the yellow turban leaders. Now he is spreading the Taiping Road in Jizhou with his big brother Zhang Jiao, while also helping some people. Big brother, Han still has such a strong army. Will it be difficult for us to take action in the future? Another person beside Zhang Jiao, with a yellow scarf wrapped around his head, was Zhang Liang. Hey, even if there were still elite soldiers in the Han Dynasty, the people's hearts had already been lost. Moreover, these elite soldiers may not necessarily be under the imperial court's command, and that stingy and greedy emperor would not spend money on the army. I suspect it is a private soldier raised by a certain clan. Unexpectedly, all private soldiers will be armored, isn't it a rebellion? Zhang Bao said in surprise. Those big clans can't even control the emperor. Rebellion. Rebellion. What do you need as emperor? Zhang Jiao said silently, anyway, this great Han is about to run out of strength, and we will definitely replace him, creating a fair world for the people of the world. At this moment, many ordinary people suddenly gathered outside the door, led by a woman holding a young child in ragged clothes. She knelt outside Zhang Jiao's house, crying repeatedly and shouting, "Great sage, please save my child." Her expression was extremely painful, even the man beside her suppressed tears. Upon hearing this, Zhang Jiao immediately went out and took the child from the woman's hand. The young child was thin and skinny, with a pale face and a dying breath. Zhang Jiao immediately said, "I will feed him talisman water, which will definitely save his life." After that, he immediately turned around and returned to the house. Half an hour later, Zhang Jiao came out of the room. At this time, the child in his arms had a calm breath and was no longer in danger of life. His face also showed a hint of redness from the white. The woman saw that her child was safe and sound, and immediately knelt down to Zhang Jiao, bowing and thanking him, shouting for a great and virtuous teacher. The surrounding people also praised Zhang Jiao's merit in saving people, and trust the Taiping Road even more. Zhang Jiao enjoyed the support of everyone and turned back to the house. He said to his two brothers, "But a bowl of sugar water and a bowl of porridge can save people's lives. I don't think the woman has been able to feed the baby since he was born. How can the Han Dynasty survive?" At the same time, in the distant northern border, the prefects of Daijun and Right Beiping were each troubled by the large-scale southward movement of Wuhuan. Since the beginning of autumn, these Wuhuan people have deviated from the usual harassment pattern of small fights, grabbing a batch and leaving. But instead, they went south in large numbers, all of them falling south and invading, and even no longer returning to the northern grasslands. Several conflicts have occurred within this month, and our county soldiers have suffered heavy losses after annihilating tens of thousands of Wuhuan. Shui Rengui captured several Wuhuan people after an abnormal conflict. He learned from the mouths of these Wuhuan people that the Xianbei people in the northern grasslands of Zhaozuiyuan.com were aggressively annexing various ethnic tribes, and Wuhuan's grasslands were almost completely destroyed. In order to survive the winter, he had to go south. When will these Xianbei people be so capable of fighting? If they were to unify the northern grasslands, the threat to the Great Han would be too great. Governor Li, what do you think? Shui Rengui asked Li Guan, who was also the governor. Among the prefects of Yuzhou, it is widely recognized that General Shui and General Li are the most capable of fighting, while Governor Gao is the most skilled in governance. Now we have to organize the county soldiers for guerrilla warfare, keeping the border troops vigilant. It is said that Governor Liu Yu has recently been transferred back to the capital, and a new Governor Liu has arrived with his troops, which should be able to help overcome difficulties. Although Li Guang is brave, his troops are indeed in short supply, which is an inevitable measure. Governor Gao, please write an official document and recruit ambitious people from all over Yuzhou to guard the border with us, Shui Rengui said, clasping his fists at Gao Qi. Okay, I will definitely gather the righteous to guard Yuzhou. Gao Xian replied, thinking that Shui Li, the second general who was still fighting on the front line as the prefect, was worthy of respect. We will immediately gather the county soldiers and be prepared, the other prefects also replied. At this moment, in the distant grasslands, Xianbei cavalry dressed in animal skins were raging. The leading general held a golden hammer, and all tribes who dared to resist were crushed by horse hooves. Those who surrendered with arched hands were incorporated into the Xianbei tribe, and their people became slaves. A good Achanyu, the Wuhuan tribe is almost extinct, and there is no more grassland for them on the grassland. The Marshal of Gully in the west is also at war with the Xiongnu, but the process is relatively slow. It's okay, no one can stop my dream of unifying the grassland and heading south to the Central Plains. Wanyan Agu sat on a galloping horse, looking south, as if he saw the prosperity of Luoyang and the fertile land of the Central Plains. His eyes revealed his talent, strategy, and ambition. Chapter 9. White Horse's Righteous Servant, Righteous Men Gather Together. You are listening at novel full.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, the surrounding villages of Liaodong vassal state are in chaos, and a group of plundering Wuhuan cavalry is leaving a burning village. They were stained with the blood of the Han people all over their bodies, and their horses were tied with looted food. They heard about the strong Han army around the right Beiping and Dai commanderies, so they found another way and chose to enter the Great Han from Liaodong. Sir, there are no more villages in the surrounding area to rob. These Han people are really poor. A few villages only have so little food, which is not enough for our tribe's daily food. A fierce-looking Wuhuan man held a bag of blood-stained food in his hand. I'm used to eating beef and mutton, but I really can't handle this corn. The leader sighed, it's all because of those Xianbei people who took away our precious grasslands, causing us to have to risk our lives and run south. Fortunately, we were lucky enough not to encounter the strong army of the Han Dynasty, and those unlucky tribes who entered from Daijun and Yubiping were all cleaned up. Let's hurry and leave. This place is not far from the county seat, let's not run into the Han army then. The leader gave an order and prepared to move his horse away. Suddenly, a rider galloped over. The leader, retreat quickly. The Han army is attacking. What, how many people are there? The leader of Wuhuan immediately drew his horse sword and prepared for battle. The number of people is about 3,000, but they all ride white horses, hold strong crossbows, and are unstoppable. The newcomers were extremely panicked, and he was the only one who escaped from the dozens of cavalry that went with him to investigate. It's bad, it's the white horsey Khan. The leaders of Wuhuan have seen the world before. When they went south, they heard of a fierce general named Gongsun Zan from Liaodong, who had an elite light cavalry under his command called White Horsey Khan. This army selected soldiers who could shoot and fight well, wielding long spears and strong crossbows, riding white horses like a blizzard, sweeping Liaodong. Previously, there was a saying among the people of Wuhuan, avoid the long history of white horses. When he realized it, it was completely too late. The thunderous sound of galloping horses came from afar, causing the earth to tremble. His tribe is only 5,000, and there are only about 2,000 knights who can fight. Now facing the elite white horse Yitzong, he is still suddenly attacked, and all the riders are in chaos. Don't run around, everyone retreat eastward, shouted the leader of Wuhuan, and then galloped on horseback. These animals are going to run. Yen Gang, lead 1,000 people to stop them from the side, and I will use a bow and crossbow to drive them away from behind. Gongsun Zan held a long spear and wore a cloak made of white fox tail on his shoulder. He had a handsome appearance, a dignified appearance, and a loud voice. By Ma-I Khan. Gong Suanzan shouted. Where righteousness comes, life and death follow each other. The heavens can tell, and white horses can prove it. 3,000 white horse followers behind them shouted loudly, their voices shaking the wilderness and their grandeur soaring to the sky. The people of Wuhuan were all frightened, and many even dismounted and knelt down to beg for surrender. The leader of Wuhuan dared not look back, only hearing the rumbling sound of horse hooves getting closer and closer to him. Hurry up and throw away the things, slow down the pace, it's all over then, the leader shouted hastily. The rider who followed the escape reluctantly threw all kinds of stolen food on the ground, trying to move forward with light equipment. Humph, I want to run. White horse Yitzong, shoot in unison. Gongsun Zan looked solemn and coldly issued the order. In an instant, Bai Ma-I behind him neatly raised a strong crossbow, gently pulled the trigger, and thousands of arrows shot out, directly taking the lives of the Wuhuan people ahead. The sharp arrow pierced deeply through the skin armor of the Wuhuan people, piercing into their flesh and blood. The powerful crossbow has an extremely long range, taking the enemy's life from afar, while they only need to hang outside the range of the enemy archer and occasionally take a bite. After a rain of arrows, 100 or 10 enemies fell to the ground in an instant, some of them tripped and fell to the ground. The galloping white horse behind them crushed their skulls and chests, and a mouthful of blood sprayed out, rendering them lifeless. With a command, another round of arrows rained down, and hundreds of people fell. Several seconds later, another round followed, like the assembly line in a slaughterhouse, merciless and efficient. After 10 rounds of arrow rain, there are less than 1,000 Wuhuan cavalry soldiers who can still run. The others have either fallen to the brink of death under the arrow, or have a mental breakdown as they watch the people around them die one by one. They all jump off their horses and cry for mercy. The leader of Wuhuan knew that they couldn't run anymore, they couldn't run away at all. The whole army turned around, and now only by fighting and killing one of the enemy leaders can there be a way out. Braves of the tribe, charge! He drew his sword and launched a counterattack against Bai Ma Yitsong without hesitation. Few brave warriors around me, seeing their distance approaching, also bow and shoot, but in too little, the damage to Bai Ma Yitsong is minimal. Okay, don't even leave if you dare to come, Gong Xuanzan said with a cruel smile at the corner of his mouth. Bai Ma Yitsong, charge forward. With a spear, fearless and fearless. At the moment when both sides were about to come into contact, everything seemed to have been paused. Smoke and dust floated up, covering the expressions of thousands of people eager to devour each other alive. Grasping a horse spear or a horse knife tightly. Angry eyes wide open as if about to burst out, blood spreading on the eyeballs, and the heart beating with the most powerful force in life, unleashing the power of life. Where righteousness comes, life and death follow each other. The sky can tell, and the white horse can prove it. Overrun with absolute advantage. White horse instantly dyed the enemy's blood, which is a symbol of their honor. Both sides were fighting together, and the cavalry led by Yan Gang had already filled the only gap from the rear. Now there is only one death and no other possibility. Damn it, damn it. The leader of Wuhuan was already in a state of anger and impatience. He swung his knife up and down, using all his strength to defeat 3 or 5 white horse righteous servants. But exhausted, he saw an enemy general waving his gun and commanding among the group of enemies. He realized that this person might be the leader of the Han army, so he raised his sword and prepared for a surprise attack. When the horse started running, the person from Xichuan www.zhaoxuyuan.com had not yet noticed the approach of the Wuhuan people. Suffer to death. As the horse sword was about to strike, Gong Xuanzan was surprised and wanted to use his gun to resist, but it was too late. Ah! A sharp pain came and disappeared in an instant. The sword in his hand weighed like 1,000 pounds and could no longer be held and fell to the ground. The leader of Wuhuan was stabbed in the chest with a long spear and fell to the ground dejectedly, with no breath left. Thank you very much for saving my life, brother. Gong Xuanzan arched his hand. Don't be too polite to General Gongsun. We will continue to charge, and Zilong will take the lead. Then the general entered the enemy's formation again, as if entering an uninhabited territory. What a fierce general! Gong Xuanzan sighed and turned to join the battle. The battle lasted for a while, and all the Wuhuan soldiers were surrendered. General, what should we do with some of the prisoners? Said a white horse Yitsong after consulting with Gong Xuanzan. We don't have a chance to gather the prisoners and solve everything, he said, leading the majority to continue on their journey. At the same time, the recruitment list for martyrs has been posted in the Zhuo County city behind Yuzhou. How dare these grassland savages offend me, Grandpa Zhang. Now, let them see with your spear. A man selling mung beans stroked his long beard and went to the registration office for military service. A man selling grass shoes shook his head, pulled out a sword, and looked firmly at it. In the distant Bingzhou, an iron cavalry has just returned victorious. The two leaders, one holding a square sky halberd and the other holding a pure iron gun. Fengxian, recently the foreign tribes in the north have repeatedly headed south. I heard that the Wuhuan tribe in Yuzhou has almost set out. What are you afraid of? With you and my brothers, all the other races are local chickens and grass dogs. I'll kill them with one strike. Huh, we share similar views as heroes. Chapter 10. Iron Cavalry arrives and plans to destroy Wuhuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. During his tenure, Liu Zhang had already learned through the system that several wars had occurred in Yuzhou. Under the command of Li Guang, Shuirengui, and others, Yuzhou is currently in danger, and the invading enemy forces have been annihilated in large areas. A group of people rode lightly and arrived within the territory of Yuzhou half of their usual time in office. The first stop was Shui County, and the prefect of Shui County, Gao Ji, had already met outside the city. Lu Shijun, you can count it. We've been doing our best to defend Yuzhou lately. We've been seeking help from the court, saying that Wuhuan is invading the south on a large scale, but there's no news yet. Gao Qi held Liu Zhang's hand tightly and sighed. Zhao Xian, don't panic. I came with a large army to help this time. Your ability to communicate with all parties and protect the land of Yuzhou is already a great achievement. I will ask the court for your help. Liu Zhang knew that Gao Xian was his own person, but he still had to speak in front of all the officials in Yuzhou. It can also be considered as a reassuring pill for everyone. Where do I dare to take credit? It's all up to the generals and soldiers such as Shui and Li. Gao Qi naturally humbly elevated those who were fighting ahead. Alright, since the war situation is urgent, we should hurry to the Jixin prefecture and prepare to support the front line. Liu Zhang refused to delay and prepared to go to the border immediately. Lu Shijun, I have several brave warriors here. Please take them along. Gao Qi timely proposed and recommended the several brave warriors recruited in Shui County to Liu Zhang. Liu Zhang turned his head, and apart from a group of strong young adults, 3 of them were particularly eye-catching. I saw a person with a leopard head and eyes, a face as smooth as iron, and a pair of black steel beards piercing through the sea. They wore a wrought iron helmet on their head, and their 2 dragon fighting treasures, red tassels, were fluttering, glaring angrily. It was Meng who collided with Zhang Fei and Zhang Ida. Zhang Fei Force 99, capable of growth, Commander. 78, capable of growth, Strategy. 86, Strategy. 67 The other is 9 feet long, with a beard 2 feet long, a face as heavy as a jujube, lips as smooth as grease, and phoenix eyes and eyebrows lying on silkworms. He has a dignified appearance and a majestic demeanor. It is the Marshal Saint Guan Yu and Guan Yunchang. Guan Yu Force 100, capable of growth, Commander. 85, capable of growth, Strategy. 88, Strategy. 70 The last person is 7 feet and 5 inches long, with hands above the knees, thick and large earlobes, a face like a crown of jade, lips like grease, a broad and gentle nature, and a reticent demeanor. Happiness and anger do not show on the face. It was Emperor Zhaolai Liu Bei and Liu Xuande. Liu Bei Force 92, Commander. 85, can grow, Strategy. 89, Strategy. 99, Charm. 102 Good guy, I have drawn out 3 SSRs, it's truly you, Gao Xian. Lu Shijun is so young, Zhang Fei thought to himself and whispered, but his loud voice was still heard by many people around him. Many people did not know who their governor was before. Few people even imagined that Liu Zhang would serve as the governor at such a young age, and many people expressed doubts about whether Liu Zhang could lead troops, feeling a bit shaken in their hearts. Liu Zhang saw at a glance what the outstanding person was worried about. He smiled lightly and said, "Don't you believe Liu? It's okay, please come with me to Ji County to see the powerful soldiers I have trained. Afterwards, you can make your own choice." The crowd pressed down their anxious hearts and decided to go. After all, no matter who commanded, they could provide food and pay, and they could go to battle to kill the enemy. Good. All the martyrs are willing to serve the court, and I, Liu Jiu, deeply admire them. Let's go to the north and let these barbarians know what it means to be a Han with the 5 barbarians. Liu Zhang waved his whip and shouted loudly. In 3 days, they arrived at the capital of Jixian, indicating that these warriors were of excellent quality. Without military training, they traveled nearly 80 miles a day, which can be said to be extremely fast. Scholars such as Sun Yu and Guo Jia are still rushing on the back car. When these warriors followed Liu Zhang to Jixian, they were shocked by the early arrival of the Iron Cavalry. More than 10,000 cavalry stood quietly outside the city, like a black wall. Among them, the armor rate was extremely high. Emperor Guangwu of Han once trained at Yuzhou II Cavalry, which can be said to be the first equipped cavalry in Chinese history, making great contributions to the development of Guangwu. And among this cavalry, the number of armored cavalry has exceeded the scale of Yuzhou II Cavalry. Fortunately, this Iron Cavalry is under the command of the imperial court. Otherwise, if there were a rebellion, most of the Han dynasty would have been trampled by this Iron Cavalry. Liu Zhang looked at this super army he had supported with all the Chengye rewards, and his heart was filled with pride. The towering mountains and rivers arch supreme, and the Iron Cavalry in the feather forest resembles the clouds. Among these 10,000 people, 1,000 were summoned by the sign-in of the system, which is composed of the Iron Futu sign, the Black Armor sign, the Bakwei army, especially Yufei's Pro army, sign, the Xichuan army, the Mongolian Imperial Guard, sign, and the Yiding Tuki, Liaodong's Iron Cavalry trump card, sign, which is the essence of the ancient heavy cavalry. The original arrow of this army was Xiaoluqi, and the core was Han Xian. Now his arrows have become Xiaoluqi, Jianwei, Guanyu, and Zhang Fei, with Wei Qing and Han Xian serving as the core, which can be said to have received the ultimate strengthening. Zhang Fei, Guanyu, and others immediately felt a sense of belonging upon seeing such a majestic army, completely devoid of contempt for Liu Zhang. Liu Bei, on the other hand, was shocked and sweated profusely. This Iron Cavalry could never have been trained by the court, and he was very clear about the virtues of the current emperor. This can only be Liu Zhang's private army, and now this private army will sweep across the grasslands. What about the future? What else can we do besides rebellion? Liu Bei knew that he had entered a tiger's den this time, and it was estimated that the entire Yuzhou would be Liu Zhang's lair. Whether he could leave this place was a question. After this battle, we must go to the capital. Please bring Liu Zhang to the capital and pacify him. Slowly disband this cavalry to avoid major disasters. Just as Liu Bei's brain was overloaded, Liu Zhang couldn't handle so much. Seeing that Liu Guan and Zhang were not close, he knew they had not formed a bond yet. How long would it be if they didn't dig a wall at this time? Liu Zhang walked up to the 2 brave warriors of Guan and Zhang, arched his hand and said to them, "I see that both of you have far greater courage than ordinary people. I wonder if you are willing to be the vanguard of this Iron Cavalry." Upon hearing this, Zhang Fei immediately grinned and said, "Liu Shijun is ridiculous. I, Zhang Ida, dare not say anything else. I have a lot of strength and can charge forward on the battlefield. Even if I die on the battlefield, I am worth it." Guanyu bowed back slightly and said, "Liu, would you dare not listen to me? Guan's big sword will definitely cut off a few more heads of thieves on the battlefield to thank you, Liu." A few days later, in the governor's office of Jixian County, advisors and generals gathered together. On the left hand are the newly recruited Yingchuan heroes, with Sun Yu at the top, Gao Ji at the second, and a prefect sitting at the bottom. On the right hand are the generals, led by Han Xian, followed by Wei Qing, followed by Xuanli, and even Guan and Zhang ranked last. Xiaoluqi and Dian Wei were left and right guards behind Liu Zhang. Liu Zhang looked at his luxurious lineup and felt a sense of pride in his heart. As the saying goes, with sharp weapons and a murderous heart, the Wuhuan people will become the first test stone. Lu Shijun, scout horses to report that a large number of Wuhuan are now stationed in western Liaoning, under the command of the Wuhuan Lord Qiu Liju. This person claims to be king in western Liaoning and has many brave generals under his command. Now all the tribes on the grassland are heading south and joining Qiu Liju's command. In fact, his strength has greatly expanded, with a conservative estimate of nearly 200,000 people, and nearly 50,000 soldiers capable of fighting. Gao Qiong reported the intelligence he collected to everyone. Your Majesty, we still maintain contact with the 4 counties in Liaodong. Gong Xuanzan, a subordinate of Governor Lu Yin, is skilled in warfare and has an elite cavalry led by Bai Ma Yi, which can be put to use. Zhang Qi and other governors said they need to guard against Goguryeo and cannot participate in the war by visiting Xichuan www.zhaoxuyuan.com. Sun Yu made a statement, and after learning that Bai Ma Yi has joined this army, he highly values it. We will attack from the left wing with General Li and General Shui, and notify Governor Lu to attack from the right wing at the same time to ensure that the Wuhuan people are driven out. Guo Jia looked at the map and had full trust in his own combat effectiveness, and the left and right pincer attacks could be successful. Wuhuan's organizational strength was very low, and he scattered it with cavalry and ate it piece by piece in the end. Sun Yu put forward his own opinion. Our left wing strength is stronger, and we can attract Wuhuan to the city with Gongsanzan. We will cover from the back, Su Wei proposed. Numerous system prompts rang out in Liu Zhang's mind. Ding, Sun Yu's skill usage. Wang Zhua. Strategy increased by 3 points, politics increased by 5 points. Sun Yu's skill. Strategy. Increases by 5 points. Plan. Strategically increase by 3 points. Guo Jia's skill. Heavenly Envy. Strategy increases by 7 points, causing damage to lifespan. 10 wins. Strategy up by 3 points, strategy up by 3 points. Su Wei's skill usage. Suggestion. Strategy to increase by 3 points. Liu Zhang sighed inwardly, with so many people plotting against Wuhuan, can there be an indestructible one? But he knew that Wuhuan was just a problem with his elbow and armpit, and the expanding Xianbei was the real problem in his heart. I will take away 1,000 elite cavalry from the Xuanjia army, and General Shui's troops, as well as his trusted brothers and Bangjia, I will take them away. We need to go inside the grassland to take a look. As for Wuhuan, I will trouble everyone to think of a good tomb. Liu Zhang put forward his own opinion, completely letting go of Wuhuan's battle. Liu, why did you go to the grassland? The crowd was puzzled. I don't even want this Wuhuan hometown anymore. There must be a drastic change in the grassland. I need to hurry up and investigate, Liu Zhang said. The real battle is still in the future.